How's it going, everyone? Week 7 is upon us. We're the 3-1-1 Green Bay Packers. This is going to get so annoying. Just keep adding that one on the end there. Take on the 2-4 Cardinals in Arizona. After coming off a victory against the Bengals, a 2-score victory feels pretty nice considering what we saw last night. I don't know if you guys watched that game, the Steelers versus Bengals. Awesome game. You know, Joe Flacco, 40 years old, against Aaron Rodgers, 41 years old. We even saw Aaron Rodgers throw a vintage Hail Mary attempt at the end of that game where the ball traveled 69.5 yards in the air, which is absolutely insane for a 41-year-old. But the Bengals won that game, and their offense looked pretty damn good. They got the run game going. Jamar Chase went off. So when we take a look at the Packers' last win against the Bengals in a 2-score victory, I don't feel as bad about it now as I did right after that game. But I really appreciate you guys coming into this live stream, trying to get everything set up real quick. I feel like my chat, for some reason, isn't working on, let's see. Let me make sure everything is good. For some reason, I feel like my chat's not working on my one StreamYard, so... Oh, that's because I'm on the wrong StreamYard. Give me a second. So I don't use StreamYard to stream, but I use it to display comments on the screen, and I went into the wrong studio, so I'm like, where is your guys' chats? Because I see it in the YouTube studio, but I don't see it in the StreamYard studio. I use both. It's a weird setup that I have, but it allows me to do things like this and put comments up on the screen, something that I wasn't able to do. What's up, man? What's up? Thanks for joining. But yeah, so as I was saying, last night's game, very fun to watch. And now the Green Bay Packers take on the Arizona Cardinals here in week 7 in Arizona. And I feel pretty good about this game. It seems all but likely that Jacoby Brissett will be their starting quarterback, which, I mean, to be honest, their offense scored 27 points last week with Brissett, which was tied for their season most with week 2 against the Panthers. So Turtle said the Icy Bowl. I saw the one reporter call it the Icy Hot Bowl. I'm like, dude, Aaron Rodgers like, I don't use Icy Hot. It was a fun game nonetheless. That was a fun game to watch. And I imagine if that Hail Mary like landed and they caught that for a touchdown, like that would be insane. Absolutely insane. Interesting comment here from Frogboy77. Nice name. Hey, Bass, did you know the last time the Packers started 3-1-1, they later went 9-4-1 and won the Super Bowl in 1967? I did not know that, but that is interesting. 9-4-1 is a wild record for end of a season, but there it is. All right, so before we dive in, let's go over our sleeper picks for this upcoming game. Use code BASS when signing up, making a first-time deposit. It's linked in the description. That'll get you a 100% match up to $100, and they're offering an awesome promo right now. You can see it on the screen. $20 entry to new users. Absolutely free, no deposit needed. So if you're on the fence and you want to make your sleeper picks, you can do so with the link down in the description. And the picks I have for this upcoming game, let me know what you guys think. If you think some of these won't hit, just let me know. I have Josh Jacobs more than 73.5 rushing yards. I mean, I think he's on a tear, and the Packers starting to block better in the interior. Matthew Golden, more than 3.5 receptions. I think that game shows that we need to give him more than 4 or 5 targets a game. He needs to be like 8 or 9 targets a game. Trey McBride, more than 6.5 receptions. I just feel like the tight ends get so much action against the Packers because these linebackers get so much depth in their zones and leave tight ends like kind of, I wouldn't say wide open, but pretty open right across the middle. So I think McBride's going to have success, and I think Brissett's going to go there, especially if Marvin Harrison's out. Then finally, I have Jordan Love, more than 12.5 rushing yards. He's been running the ball a lot. We saw it last game. Every opportunity he has to extend a play and run, he's going to do it. So I feel like that's not a bad pick there. But those are my 4 picks. If you want to go make your picks on Sleeper, like I said, link down in the description and get that free play of $20. All right, so let me get this back up on the screen for you guys. And you know what? Let's just go right into it and let's bring up the screen. I started this game preview a little bit earlier today because I do have a wedding to get to in a few hours. So I was like, you know what? I want to give myself the most amount of time. So apologies if it's a little bit earlier than usual. I think I usually start like 12:30 Eastern, but started at 12 Eastern today. Arturo said I would put Trey McBride for 25 or 35 plus yards. I think that's a good one as well. I just went with the receptions because I think his yardage line was at like 57 or something. And I was like, I don't know about that. I feel like he could get a lot of like short yardage receptions against this defense. So that's what I did with that. Fatal Masker says, do you think Watson plays Sunday? I'm on the fence right now. I'm like 50-50 right now. Last week I was like, okay, he should probably return against Arizona, and they haven't outright like outruled it. LaFleur said we'll see what happens if he's able to be activated for this game. That's obviously going to be a medical thing. It's not up to LaFleur. I think he has a good chance, but yeah, I think he has a good chance, but I still think it's like 50-50 right now, if I'm being honest. So they don't need him to be back in this game. Like Pittsburgh, maybe. They should destroy the Pittsburgh pass defense, considering what the Bengals just did to them. But we also don't have a Jamar Chase. So, yeah, all right, let's dive right into it. So the Packers are 6.5-point favorites. We can see the amount of money is 62% on the Green Bay Packers for the spread. In terms of bet percentage, 58%. And in terms of money line, 96% of the money is on the Green Bay Packers, meaning, straight up, which team you're picking, 96% of the people are picking the Green Bay Packers. So that's good to know. Also kind of bad to know. I feel like whenever a lot of money's on a certain team, we see some funky things happening during that game. But this refereeing crew calls the most penalties in the NFL average per game, just so you guys know. So, yes, I did see the comments about Micah being held and every play or almost every play being poked in the face and going off against the refs. I mean, he has some valid points, and you see it on tape. It's like dude's being clotheslined, wrapped around the neck, hands to the face, and the ref's standing there watching it. And I said this on my film review. I feel like there's a bias, like there's a league memo bias that goes around for the referees that, hey, there's these top level pass rushers. If we called holding on them like we did everyone else, there would be holding almost every play because they're so damn good. The Myles Garretts, the Aiden Hutchinsons, the Micah Parsons. If they actually were to call holding like they do on everyone else on these players, it would be so redundant. That's because they're so damn good. So I feel like there is a referee memo to say, hey, be a little lenient on these guys getting held. I really feel like that is the case, which is unfortunate because you should ref it like the correct way every single time. And Micah does get held a lot out there, but he does open up a ton of other opportunities for other guys. So he's not just, getting held and then nothing else is happening. So hopefully they do call it fairly, though, moving forward. As for the PFF overall ranks, the Packers are the second highest graded PFF team as a whole. The Cardinals are 28th. Defense, the Packers are the 14th highest graded defense as a whole. The Panthers are 17th. And you'll see the Panthers, I don't know why I'm saying Panthers. You'll see the Cardinals about league average defense. Offense, the Packers are the fourth highest graded PFF offense, which is crazy considering their O-line has such poor grades. And the Cardinals are 13th. Packers have played the 20th highest strength of schedule, and the Cardinals have played the easiest strength of schedule, yet are still 2-4. Percentage of run plays. The Packers are a run-heavy team, 44.2%, and the respective 55.8% passing. The Cardinals, more of a pass-heavy team, 33.7% running. And that could be in part due to James Conner and Trey Benson going out with injury. That could be why. 66.3% passing. Now looking at the quarterback comparison, I'm glad they put Jacoby Brissett up here because he will, I don't know if it's 100% confirmed, but it's like, okay, that's going to be their quarterback this week. Jordan Love's PFF grade, been one of the higher PFF graded quarterbacks in the league, 83.0. Now Brissett just played this one game, but he did have a 76.0 and played pretty well, I would say. Had a 113 pass rating when clean, but look at the pass rating when under pressure. And Jordan Love's is lower. This is going to happen, but again, it starts and ends with getting pressure on the quarterback. Jacoby Brissett, a 46.8 passer rating when under pressure. Jordan Love's is a 41.1, but Jordan Love's when clean is a 137.8, which is awesome to see. Big time throw percentage. Jordan Love with a whopping 6.04%. A turnover worthy play percentage, pretty low. Obviously Brissett has 0 because he just played one game, but this is pretty low, 2.75%. Brissett, big time throw percentage, very low in that last game, 1.96%, and didn't throw a single turnover worthy play, or didn't have a single turnover worthy play. Now, when you take a look at the Cardinals, schedule this year, they started off 2-0, Saints, Panthers, whatever, right? Then they've lost 4 straight. But when you take a look at these 4 games, look how close they all are. 4 points, 1 point, 3 point, 1 point, right? So, that's a total of 9 points in the last 4 games they've lost by collectively. So, yes, the Cardinals are a 2-4 team, but they've kept every game close that they've lost in. So they're not a team to take lightly, even with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. They have a solid roster all around, and they've kept it close with every single team, including the 49ers, including the Seahawks, and last week, including the Colts, while they had a backup quarterback. So this is, in my opinion, going to be a close game. Like, they're going to hang around most of the game. It's just going to come down to who can make a play in the end, and I think it's going to be the Green Bay Packers. And quickly, we could look at their injuries. We'll look at the Packers. Like I said, I have a wedding later to go to, so I won't be releasing a Friday injury update video, so apologies. I'll put it on a community post if I can, just kind of I'll list what players are questionable and whatnot, if you do only get your news through YouTube and whatnot. But Aaron Banks should be off the injury report, or at least won't have a designation. I'll give my predictions here. Anthony Belton will be questionable most likely. Warren Brinson will be ready to go. Javon Bullard will be ready to go. Matthew Golden, ready to go. Josh Jacobs, same thing. McManus, I see him being out of this game yet again, and Lucas Haversick will kick for a second week in a row. Jacob Monk could get activated this week, same with Christian Watson. I think Monk will get activated. Jordan Morgan will be fine to go. Zach Tom, I don't know. I think he'll be questionable. We'll see what happens with him. If he can't go, it'll be either Darian Kennard or Anthony Belton at right tackle. I think they're just going to keep Jordan Morgan at right guard and let him stick with what he's been good at this past week, right? Be consistent. Stick with the hot hand at right guard, and that was Jordan Morgan last week. Lucas Van Ness, foot injury, did not participate. He'll likely, he could end up getting limited today and being questionable, but I could see this more so being doubtful or out. Christian Watson, we'll see if he gets activated. Wicks, ankle injury limited. He'll be questionable, probably will play. And Devontae Wyatt will be out of this game yet again. Now, the Cardinals have a very long injury report as well. DeMarcado did not participate all week. Zay Jones, Katan Crawford. Everyone else on here is either limited or full, including Marvin Harrison with a concussion limited. So he'll likely clear protocol by Sunday and play. Now, their starting running back will likely either be Bam Knight or Michael Carter. But we see Kyler Murray limited, but they'll probably hold him out this week. Like I said, all signs are pointing towards Jacoby Brissett starting at quarterback. All right, so let's go into the lineups. Tajan Brown says, do you think Jordan Love could be an MVP candidate by the end of the year? 100%. I think he's in the realm right now. Now, is he like, hey, he's one of the top 3, 4, 5 guys? I don't think so, but I think he's right outside that cusp. And I think by the end of the year, for sure, if he continues up this play, he's playing wildly, consistent outside of 2 dumb interceptions. That's really, he's had 2 mistakes, and outside of that, he's been playing some damn good football. So, I think that's 100% in the conversation when the year comes to a close. All right, we'll start with the Packers defense, and it's up here. Xavier McKinney at safety, 62.4. It just hasn't really been that X year yet. It really hasn't. Now, I wouldn't say he's playing terrible. It's just a lot of the offensive movement is going away from him. He doesn't have many opportunities to make a play on the ball. A lot of offenses are simply just taking the quick checks. They're taking the quick stick routes, slants, out routes, and that's what a lot of teams are doing this year. The movement of the defense playing a too high shell, that defense has really started to run after the Mahomes of the league, started airing it out a bunch. Now teams are rotating off of that and going, okay, you're going to play a too high shell. We're just going to dink and dunk down the field because you're going to give that to us. We're going to take what you give us. And now teams are starting to do a lot of that. So when you're playing, too high or cover three and McKinney's the third, the single high, teams are going to take the quick routes. So that's going to, remove McKinney out of the play. So I think that's a lot of the reason as well. But I do want to see him, make a splash play here soon. Evan Williams on the other side, he's been a damn good safety this year. They've been moving him around a bunch. You could see how much they've moved him into the box, slot, free safety, even a little bit of D-line, getting some pressures and whatnot. So really nice year so far by Evan Williams. Our linebackers, Edgerrin Cooper, 75.8, the 15th highest. Quay Walker, slightly above average, 62.2. And Isaiah McDuffie, when he comes on the field, it hasn't been much. 41 running snaps, 35 passing snaps, 76 total snaps. It's not much, but when he is on the field, he has been playing at a high level. His run defense, 80.7, and that's what I think Isaiah McDuffie is great for. You don't want him out there in nickel. You don't want him as a full-time backer. But where you do want him is, okay, it's a first down or it's a short yardage situation. We need Isaiah McDuffie out there to help stop the run, and he has one goal. Stop the run. That's where he's good. Where he suffers is when we get him out there and it's a nickel or a 2nd and 12 or a 3rd and 7. And it's like, yeah, he's going to get cooked out there. So I really like them using him in run only situations. And it's really, showed well for him. Nixon and Hobbs on the outside. Nixon 70.6. I mean, I saw a comment saying, did Nixon really play that bad against Jamar Chase? All things considered, what we saw last night from Jalen Ramsey against Chase. Chase is just a phenomenal wide receiver. I was happy with how Nixon played against the Bengals. He had good coverage on the Chase touchdown. I can't really fault him for that. It was just a phenomenal catch. I think Nixon has played up to the level of cornerback number 1 for the Green Bay Packers. I know a lot of people like to use him as a scapegoat, but I think it could be a lot worse. Is it top tier? No, it's not, but it could be a lot worse. All things considered, a former backup nickel corner we brought in to be a pure special teamer has risen up to cornerback number 1 of this defense and is playing like it. And is a very, very cheap and manageable contract as well. I don't understand why he gets this much hate. If we were paying him $25 million annually, then yeah, I'd say, not really worth the money. But I think we're paying him like $8 million a year, maybe. It might even be, I think it's 6. I mean, come on. I don't know how you can be that mad. Can the Packers upgrade? Probably, yeah. Will they draft a corner this next draft in the 2nd round as their first pick? Maybe. We'll see. But Nate Hobbs on the other side has kind of been struggling a bit. 65.4, 34 out of 107 cornerbacks. Ken Wow says, do you feel we need to go for a corner before the trade deadline? So here's my thoughts with that. Unless you're getting a guy in the building that is going to be a bona fide number 1 or number 2, then no. Because there's no point. Like, if he's not going to be any better than Hobbs, like if you're trading for a guy or signing an Asante Samuel, like Asante Samuel Jr. is not going to start over either of these guys, and he's not even healthy. But in terms of trade, I haven't really looked on who's available, but unless you're getting a guy, which you'd have to give up a lot of draft capital for a guy like that we don't have because we just traded for Micah Parsons. So I find it very unlikely that we trade for someone that's, has a ton of value at cornerback. Do we potentially trade for a veteran guy that's just to give us a little bit more depth? Maybe, but he's not going to start over Hobbs or Nixon or Valentine. So it's just kind of like a depth thing if we do trade for a corner. I don't see us trading for someone huge. Now, I know the Packers were kind of calling on Greg Newsome. That could be someone that could slide in as a number 2, but obviously he was already traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars in a straight swap for Tyson Campbell. I don't know. I don't really see it. But Nixon and Hobbs, let's move this into nickel. We've Bullard in the nickel. I don't agree with this grade. I think Bullard's been playing at a very high level. Sure, his coverage suffers sometimes, but around the line of scrimmage and run defense, I don't agree with this at all. 50.7 is not what I agree with. Javon Bullard's been really, really good in the run game. He's been really good around the line of scrimmage when they throw bubble screens, halfback screens. He's been the one flying to the football every single time. As our defensive line, Micah Parsons, still the number 1 graded edge rusher at 92.4. And I think these grades check out because a lot of people will look at the box score that are non-Packers fans and will go, well, Micah Parsons isn't worth it. Look, James Houston has more sacks than him. Micah Parsons has tons and tons and tons of pressures that open up so much more for the rest of these guys. And when you watch the film, the dude is getting absolutely held back there. So these grades check out. I think he is the highest graded edge rusher in the league, by my opinion as well. Rashawn Gary on the other side, 70.8. Started out the year strong. I think he had, 4.5 sacks. Hasn't had one since in a couple weeks. Need him to step back up. Colby Wooden on the inside had a nice game against the Bengals. He's been, filling in nicely at nose tackle. Carl Brooks at the other spot, but Warren Brinson needs more snaps, and so Turtles commented that. So, great minds think alike. Need more Brinson snaps. Warren Brinson had a really good game. I think it was 21 snaps against the Bengals, majority of that coming in the fourth quarter. And, the Packers may have found something with him. I know it's just one game, don't want to overreact there, but, with Devontae Wyatt being out, we need more, depth at 3 tech, and Warren Brinson is exactly that. So yes, give Warren Brinson more snaps. I think the Packers defensive room watch the tape, and they're going to give him more snaps here against Arizona. Now for the Arizona Cardinals offense, right? Let's start on the offensive line. You got Paris Johnson Jr. at left tackle. He's been pretty damn good. One of the better pass blocking left tackles in the league, 82.9. Run blocking, 66.6. That's interesting. On the right side, we have Jonah Williams, who been about average, really pretty much average, 60.2 grade. On the inside, we have Evan Brown, who's good pass blocking, 76.0, very poor run blocking, 50.3. We also have Will Hernandez. I don't think he's been starting. I don't know who was starting at right guard for them, but this is atrocious. I remember when he was a very, very solid guard for the Giants. He was drafted in the second round of that 2018 draft, and I remember he was a really solid guard. I don't know what happened with him, but it looks like he's starting at right guard for them this week, I think, right? Let me look. Do they have a guard? Beacham's veteran rest. He's a backup. They don't have a guard on here unless someone went to IR for them. I don't know who was playing at right guard for them because Will Hernandez, again, doesn't have that many snaps, only 96. But at center, they have Hjate Frodholt, who he's been pretty good. I'm pretty sure he's been one of the better centers this year. I think I forget what site in terms of, it might have been like ESPN metrics with like pass block efficiency, run block efficiency, those sort of things. So these grades don't really tell this whole story of him. I think he's been a solid center this year. Good, above average pass block grade, above average run block grade. At quarterback, Jacoby Brissett. We already kind of went over him. DeMarcado hasn't practiced all week, so I doubt he'll play. It'll likely be Michael Carter, Bam Knight here. At at tight end, we have Trey McBride. We know how good he could be. Again, the Packers haven't done too well against tight ends. He's going to get his targets. He's going to get his looks, and it's just a matter of the Packers containing him. At receivers, they have Zay Jones on the one side. Again, receiver grades, take them as you will, but Zay Jones on the one side, Marvin Harrison Jr. on the other. Still waiting for that breakout Marvin Harrison game. Hope it doesn't happen in this game, but I have him on my fantasy team. I had big faith in him here in year 2, and I just really haven't gotten it yet. I've been keeping him on my bench because I have DK Metcalf and Jamar Chase, but still kind of waiting for that Marvin Harrison breakout game. But I'm really hoping it's not going to be this week. On the inside, they have Michael Wilson out of the slot. 59.3, and if we move it to 12 personnel, their other tight end is Elijah Higgins, who has a really nice grade, actually the 11th highest graded tight end, and McBride is the 5th. So there is the Cardinals offense. Let's flip it on over to the defense. I'll read some comments before we get into it. I've seen some people saying the Packers are favorites to trade for Calais Campbell. Does that even make sense for the Packers to do that? I mean, I think it could. Do I see them doing that? No, I don't. As we see him here, he fits more of that 3-4 scheme, running that end. Could he play in our defense? Yeah, he could. I don't really see it. Apparently, Matt LaFleur will start having pregame convos with the refs on holding Micah. Well, that's good. Got to keep him accountable, right? You see that vet move from T. Higgins last night where he slid at the end of game. Genius. Kind of wish we got him. Yeah, I saw it, but I think if we get T. Higgins, we don't draft Matthew Golden, and we just spend a lot more money, and I think Matthew Golden has a higher ceiling than T. Higgins. Obviously, that play last night and what Higgins has been able to do is phenomenal, and he's a great wide receiver, but if I'm being honest, and it's likely just because I'm a Packers fan and there's bias here, but I do think Matthew Golden can become a better wide receiver than T. Higgins. J Mac in the building. What's up, man? He said he late. What's up, fellas? What's up, man? How's it going? All right. Let's dive right in. Wow, I did not realize Budda Baker was that low of a safety in terms of grade. Golden was cheaper too. Yeah, see, Golden we get 5 years. Well, 4 years cheap and then a 5th year option if we wanted at, manageable money. So T. Higgins is very, very expensive. There's a thing to play there, right? Like rookies have a lot more value, not only because of their ceiling, but because of their rookie deals. So it's like, even right now, based off of what they've shown through T. Higgins' career and Golden's first 6 weeks, I would still keep Golden. Like I would not do a straight trade swap. Like I would not do it just because of contract and upside. Budda Baker 49.3 pass rush. that's crazy. I've never seen that drastic of a difference between two like sections in a player's grade, but 49.3, 74th out of 80 safeties. Run defense been pretty solid, but his coverage has been absolutely atrocious. 79 out of 83. At free safety, they have Jalen Thompson. Don't they have? Yeah, Dadrian Taylor Demerson. I really liked him coming out of, was it this draft or the last one? I really liked him, so I was interested to see how he's been playing, but I have to go into their team. But Jalen Thompson, 59.3, so kind of some rough safety play over here in Arizona. Coverage 58.9 below average. Run defense slightly above average. At linebacker, they have Akeem Davis Gaither, 56.1. Good run defense. Terrible in coverage. Seems like a lot of these players are not good in coverage. 45.8. And that makes sense. They're the 28th ranked pass defense in terms of yardage allowed. So it makes sense why all these players have very poor coverage grades. Here's another one. Mac Wilson, 56.5. Run defense, even worse, 49.9. Good pass rush, but that's about it. On the outside, there we go. We got Max Melton. They have to. They 100% have to put Bo Melton on a play on offense and run like a 9 route against Max. Like I just want to see it. And throw him a go ball. And I feel like the Cardinals should respect it. Like don't shade his safety to that side. Just be like, yeah, lock him up. I think we all want to see that, right? Like I just want to see Max Melton versus Bo Melton 9 route. Like I really, really, really want to see that. Or run one of those orbit motions, swing to that side and just have Bo like go lower his shoulder on his brother. Like I think they have to do something. But Max is playing outside for them. Let me move this into nickel real quick. Max is playing outside for them. They have Jalen Thompson on the inside, who's had a very, below average grade. Max has had a very poor grade. I actually want to, that run defense, man. You know what I could do? I don't know if this shows coverages. You know what I could do? I could do this. Okay. Then we go back, right? So Max Melton so far has allowed 16 catches on 27 targets. So below 60% reception percentage, which is nice. 249 yards allowed. He's allowed no touchdowns, had 2 pass breakups. He allowed a passer rating of 89.9. So grade doesn't really show this situation too well. In terms of, what he's allowed through the air, I think he's getting really, really brought down by that run defense grade because, let's see, he has 7 missed tackles. Yeah, okay. So he has 13 tackles and missed 7. So if you run that way, you should find some success outside the numbers. I think if you run like bubble screens, slip screens, anything to his side, players are going to be able to get around him. But yeah, Max Melton on the outside. On the other side, they have Will Johnson, who we're all kind of like banging the table for in this draft, especially in the second round, because he went the 47th pick. Where did the Packers pick Belton? What number was that? I could look real quick, but it was crazy to see Will Johnson fall this far. And he's been playing like a first-round corner. He's been playing like one of the better corners in the draft. Now, will his degenerative knee issue affect him later in his career? Probably, but 79.4 grade, 78.7 coverage, run defense 71.7. He's been playing good. On the defensive line, they have Josh Sweat, who's surprisingly doing something. I remember, last year he went to the Eagles and just sat there and didn't do anything. Belton went 54th. Yeah, so could have had Will Johnson if you wanted. Could he have done more for this team right now than Anthony Belton? Yeah, I would say so. And you're in a win now mode after trading for Parsons. So arguably this would have been a better pick than Anthony Belton, but we'll see what the future holds. But yeah, Josh Sweat, 77.4 defensive grade, run defense 70.5, pass rush 76.6. On the other side, Baron Browning, 58.3. I think I had him as a target this all season for like free agency, but that was before everything went down with Parsons, obviously. But I think he was a former Bronco, right? Run defense, 60.7. On the inside, they have Calais Campbell, 74.7. Just ageless human here. 39 years old, playing still on the defensive line. 6'8", 282. You know what I saw last night that absolutely blew my mind was that Darnell Washington of the Pittsburgh Steelers, the tight end, is at 300 plus pounds. He's 6'7", but he entered the league, or at least his combine weight was, 265. But the broadcast said he's 300 plus pounds, and teammates have also said that. That's crazy. I knew you guys were going to do it in the chat. I said 6'7". Come on. You can't get by it, dude. There's so many opportunities. But yeah, Darnell Washington is crazy that he's 300 pounds plus. That's wild for a tight end, but he's still pretty athletic. So that's the Arizona defense. Nothing to really write home about. Will Johnson, has been playing good. Josh Sweat has some success. Oh, there's D'Adrian Taylor Demerson. There he is. Wow, he's actually graded pretty damn well. There we go. 75.1. Coverage grade 73.7. I really liked him. Okay, it was the 2024 draft, so it was last year. Okay. I was like kind of like in my mind, like which draft was it? Because I really liked him coming out. Nothing to really write home about this defense. 28th against the pass, 15th against the run. We'll find success there. As for the Packers offense, here's the offensive line. Zach Tom, 72.2. Jordan Morgan, 53.9. He had a phenomenal game against the Bengals. I'm hoping he can continue that hot streak. Elton Jenkins, 61.4. Aaron Banks has been our lowest graded lineman pretty much the entire year, 43.4. Need him to really step up and kind of be better at that guard position, although he did have a good game against the Bengals. Rasheed Walker at left tackle, 60.5. Pass block grade, 57.8. He's kind of just been there, just kind of average, whatever. He's there. Tucker Kraft, he's been so great for us. I'm so glad one of these tight ends popped. Drafting Musgrave, Kraft, back-to-back, second round, third round, you don't expect both to just be insane, but you're hoping at least one will. And Tucker Kraft has been that guy. It's unfortunate Musgrave hasn't really been able to get anything going because the guy has immense amount of potential. It's just kind of can't put it all together. But Tucker Kraft certainly has. And this guy is so fun to watch. Put the ball in his hands and just watch him demolish defenders. Even without the ball in his hand, watch him demolish defenders. We talked about Love. Jacobs is the second highest graded running back in the NFL, 82.1. Receiving grade, phenomenal. Run grade, really good. As for wide receivers, we have Dobbs and Wicks. Wicks with the ankle injury should end up playing in this game. We'll see if Watson ends up getting activated. But Wicks a 65.1, Dobbs a 66.2, and Golden, our highest graded wide receiver here, with a 69.8. We can also put this in 12 personnel, and there is Luke Musgrave with a 58.8. I just want to see him. I want a Luke Musgrave like breakout game. That would be so fun to just see Musgrave go for a $120, just running vertical multiple times and catching deep passes. I feel like he could. He has the mismatch ability against linebackers, against safeties. It's just I don't know. Just something isn't there. It's not fully clicking yet with him in this offense. And it's unfortunate because he spent a second round pick on him, but like I said, it makes a lot easier of a pill to swallow because we have Tucker Kraft. But yeah, that's the Packers offense, the Cardinals defense. Like I said, I think it's going to be a close game. The Packers at -6.5. I think it could be a closer game. I think it could be a 4-point game, 3-point game in the Packers' favor. This Cardinals team is nothing to look past. 4 straight losses. Yeah, you might be looking at it going, yeah, they suck. They don't, man. They've allowed 9 total points. The point differential between these 4 games is a total of 9 points. That's it. That's absolutely it. So this is a good football team, and they even played well with a backup quarterback last week. So that's the game preview. Let me answer some questions as we wrap this thing up. J-Mac says, I'd love to see Watson get a couple of reps, but I do not want him pushing injury. I think at this rate, it's just a matter of, how much do you trust your knee? I think it's healed. It's just okay, how much work have you put in? Are you ready? Are you in a game sense? I don't think he could really re-injure it. I mean, I'm sure you can, but I correct me if I'm wrong. I think from a medical standpoint, your surgically repaired ACL is actually stronger than it was before, and it's actually stronger than your other one. So I think there actually is more risk of your other one blowing out, but I could be completely off base with that. Tajan says, I feel like the offense doesn't use Luke enough. Yeah, more 12 personnel, man. I'm always for that. Matt Walter says, I could see the Packers activating Christian, but he plays 8 to 10 snaps, with most being run blocking. We'll see what they do. We'll see what they do. Sergio Kennedy, appreciate the donation, says they have an easy cheap out with Banks at the end of year. Not this year, but next year. Yeah, next year. Let it play out. It's been what, 5 games for the Packers. He's still getting acclimated. Still really hasn't been fully healthy. Let it play out. I'm telling you, Aaron Banks, will turn into a solid guard. Jason says, do you think the Packers trade away any of their players at the deadline, and if so, who? Before Lucas Van Ness got hurt, I was going to say JJ Enagbare. I feel like his snaps have diminished week by week, and with Brenton Cox Jr. potentially returning soon, I could totally see that. But with Lucas Van Ness hurt now, it's kind of I know the Niners have called about Gary Enagbare. A lot of teams have called about Dobbs, Wicks. I don't see the Packers trading a receiver. We'll see. But if I had to choose someone and say this, if I have to say someone will get traded, it would probably be Enagbare. It would probably be Enagbare for me. Sinister says, what about Marshawn? I mean, your guess is as good as mine. They said he's been nearing a return. But we've heard that, 10 times now. So, yeah, your guess is as good as mine. But that does it for the game preview. Packers versus Cardinals here in Week 7. Kickoff 4:25 Eastern. I will be live for this game on Sunday, probably about 10 to 15 minutes beforehand. Like I said, I'm going to a wedding here in a bit, so no injury report video tonight, just so you're aware. And you're like, where's the injury report video? Yeah, you can go on the Packers website. They'll post the injury report, but I'll also try to put it on the community tab and whatnot. But I do really appreciate you guys coming back to this game preview here in Week 7. If you could leave a like on your way out, that would support the channel a ton. I'd appreciate it. And also, actually, hold on. Let me flip back to this. Merchandise. I'm going to put it in the chat real quick. Let me copy this link. I'm going to put it in the chat for you guys. There it is. It's in the chat. If you guys want to check out the merch we have available, there is a new design just in time for Halloween, and it's Edgerrin Cooper's House of Horrors. You can see him with the Michael Myers mask there. I know a lot of people were asking for a design like this, so if you're interested in the merchandise, we have a lot of cool designs, adding designs pretty much weekly at this point. We keep making more, working with someone, creating awesome designs for you guys, and at affordable prices too, trying to make it, affordable and cool Packers merchandise. And it really helps support the channel if you want, certain cool Packers stuff as well. I really like the whiskey glass with the thank you, Jerry, because, what would be better than thanking Jerry Jones with every, sip of a Wisconsin old fashioned? I couldn't really think of anything better. And this is probably one of my favorite designs. The Bane Gary is absolutely phenomenal of a design. Really like it there. There's the Luke Ness monster. There's the Packers to the Bolbra with the Jaden Reed, of course. There's tons of different stuff we're creating. We'll be adding more as time goes on. So really appreciate you guys for stopping by. But check out the merch. It's in the chat. It's also down in the description. Supporting the channel a ton if you do end up picking up something here from the merch store. But really appreciate you guys stopping by. I'll catch you on Sunday for the live stream, and hopefully the Packers end up 4-1-1. But really appreciate you stopping by. I'll catch you on the next one. And as always, go Pack, go.